All right, welcome everybody. It's now 3 p.m., so we'll get started. Welcome to the Simple Invest 360 Education Week. Today's webinar, the final webinar for Simple Invest, is on Division 7A loans simplified. My name is Christopher Banks, and I will be taking you through. So, just first up, general housekeeping. I know you've seen it many times before, but again, today's session is in listen only mode. You will not be able to speak or send any chat messages. The only way you can respond to us is through the Q&A. So if you have any questions throughout the webinar, please use the Q&A along the bottom of your screen. And at the end, we'll also spend some time answering questions as well. The other thing, this webinar will be recorded and later uploaded to the BGL YouTube channel. You'll also receive an email with the link to the recording. I've also sent 2 links into the chat, one to sign up for any future courses, as well as the current playlist of all the previous webinars. So, good job. Congrats getting to the end of the week. So this is the final session for Simple Invest. We will have CAS 360 as of next week, but for Simple Invest, this is the final one. So to begin, looking at Division 7A loans, what are Division 7A loans about? They're about loans from companies to the shareholder. For it to fall under a Division 7A loan, it has to be a complying loan. So what is a complying loan? It must have a minimum interest rate, which there's a calculation for that on the ATO's website. There must have a maximum term, which in Simple Invest can be set between 25 years or 7, and there must be a written agreement. So the two above, the interest rate and the term, must be written down and submitted to the ATO. I will provide, for those who want further reading, I also have a link directly to the ATO website so that you can go have a look if you want for more information. So we're going to jump into Simple Invest. I'm in my company here, Division 7A Loans. So the first thing we're going to do is we need to create a loan account, an asset account. So we click Add Account, click Other, make it normal. I'm going to call this, we're going to put in a code that corresponds to assets. Then we're going to put in the name. My mistake. We're going to put in a security, but we're going to make first a control account, then put in the code. We're going to switch it to a non-unitized investment. Add a income account, the interest received, then click Save. With that, we have our brand new control account. And we can add a sub account. So I'm going to call this loan for car. If you check more details, we can see that investment account that we have will be created upon creating this sub account. So we click Save, and then we have our new investment account. So before we jump into the Division 7A loan screen, which is located under shareholders, we're going to jump back to the transaction list because we need to do the initial journal of us uh, giving out the loan to the shareholder. We'll make it for the 1st of the 7th, 2023. Type in our asset account. This is a loan for $100,000. So we click post. We've got our journal. And so now we can create the Division 7A loan in the worksheet. Philip has a question here. Why are we using investment asset links instead of a liability type account? This is because we're looking at this currently on the behalf of the company. So this is a loan to the shareholder. So the shareholder will have to pay us back using interest. So it is an asset for the company because we will be receiving money for it. In the individual shareholder, Chris Banks, the on the shareholder side, that will be a liability because it is a loan for them. So we come in here, we click create loan, and we have the option. We have two options here. We have attached to entity, which we're going to do, Division 7A loans. We also have the option to enter the entity name. If you want to enter the entity name manually, that is for if you do not have the entity in Simple Invest. So if it's through, let's say you've got this company and it's in zero, instead you can just but you want to use the Division 7A worksheet that we have in Simple Invest, you could use that through this screen here and just type the name in there. You won't get, obviously, because it's not in Simple Invest, you won't be able to do any of the inter-entity journals, but you will have the worksheet for you. So we're going to type in the description, select the year zero, the type of loan. You can see here, as I said earlier, you have 7 years or 25 years in Simple Invest. I'm going to select unsecured, 7 years. Then we have the assets account. So you have well, I originally said asset. I meant investment. That's my bad. But I have the investment here. You also do have the option for asset accounts. So we select that. It's picked up automatically that we have our interest account that I attached. And because we've made that first initial journal, it's picked up the establishing loan balance in from the transaction list. Then we have the option to select the shareholder or select a contact. So shareholder, if it's attached to an entity within Simple Invest. However, if it isn't, you would then select a contact. You can see here we can select the loan liability account. So I'm going to select car loan because that is the account that I have on my individual. So we click create new loan and it's straight away it opens up with the Division 7A worksheet. You see at the top has all the details, the loan account, the interest account, who's the borrower, what's the description. Also has the interest rate for the next 7 years and the payments, minimum payment requirements, and the running balance. So obviously we haven't entered any details in. So it just goes up and up. We also up the top here have the ability to export the worksheet and that will download this entire worksheet as an Excel spreadsheet. Should you wish. This also leads us back, for those who wanted to know, there is the interest calculation. You can find that on the ATO link I sent earlier. But this version that you see in the slides can also be found in the Division 7A help article, which I have provided in the chat as well. So once we're happy with this, save all entries. Close out. Then that's all for this year. We're going to go back to period compliance and move on to the following year. Nothing interesting happens. There's no income. I'm going to skip that for now because there's no income to do. Lodge it, and then we're going to close the period. So now we're on the 2025 financial year. We're going to make a repayment journal. So again, new transaction bank statement. We'll do it on the 1st of the 7th, 2024. Loan for car. And then we input our amount. I'm going to pay my company back $10,000. Select post. We've got our repayment. So then if we come back to Division 7A, now if we click just here, it'll open up with the first year expanded because we're now in the 2025 financial year. And you can see straight away, we already have, it's taken straight from the transaction list, our first repayment of $10,000. We have the financial end year date. We have the minimum repayment required for the year. And you can see that it's all, yeah, again, it's picked up the $10,000 we put in. We have a refresh system repayment. So that's if there were journals in the transaction list, but you've clicked the delete button down here. This will clear out, this will bring it back, whatever's in the transaction list, back into this screen. You have a ability to enter repayments down here. This is for before when if you have a Division 7A loan, but you don't have it's not connected to any entity within Simple Invest. This is what you would use this for, as any repayment in the transaction list will come through. So you should be journaling them there if it's in Simple Invest. But if it isn't, come down here and you can enter the repayments amounts in there. We have the option here to post the interest journal. So if I click that, it's going to post that journal for us. And then we can also click here to pay out the required amount remaining, because we've only paid out 10,000 as part of the dividends. So we click that, we get the dividends declared, and we have the option to post the dividends. It has the amount. You can enter whether it's in the franked percentage. I'm not going to bother. We click post. We've got posted. Save all entries and close out. Now if we jump back to the transaction list, you have the interest generated, and then the two allocation amounts to the shareholder. So what we can do now is we can go to compliance, period compliance, start the workflow. Get our statement of taxable income. We get the income amount available for allocation. Click save and post. Then we have earnings available for distribution. That will be the amount that was available minus the Division 7A. So we select copy. I'm going to copy this just so I don't have to type it out. Because we only have one shareholder, it's the full amount allocated. Once we're happy, we have no franked percentage because we didn't have any franked amounts. So we select post and continue. It's going to ask us for the inter-entity journal. All right. Ah, this is a good one, and it's good to look at. Yep. We see our screen sharing still. Cool. No issues there. Okay, so the issue is here. We can't see. You can see here we don't have any investment account to select. This is because the investment account in my company, I forgot to add the income account. So we go 23900 and click save. We've got our income, refresh, and straight away it's there. So then we can click post journal to Chris Banks. You can also see that there's already a transaction here. However, that's just the 10,000 equivalent that I had prepared. And we click post transaction. And just like that, we can then continue to the tax reports. And obviously you'd have the tax return here. All right, we have a question. Why is the Division 7A income subject to CGT? It's not. In the case you saw here, this is the Division 7A company. A little bit confusing under my individual. So that's the investment for the my investment in the company itself that I've taken this loan from. So obviously when I would sell this company, I would be subject to capital gains tax. You can see here, because the code here is 77800, it's the shares in unlisted private companies. And it has its own security in case the price of the company changes. So we have changes in price recorded as well. But in terms of the company, if we jump back to accounting, chart of accounts, and then search up 74350, see Division 7A loans. If you go more details, there is no toggle as says subject to CGT. Another thing to add, we also have the ability to export this as a PDF. And so this will have a summary of all of the Division 7A loans. Right now, we just have it on Entity View. So this is just showing the loans currently residing within this entity, aka my Division 7A loans company. However, you have, if you're in admin, this is an admin by default. Of course, if you're in, you can change the permissions, and so you can give it another role for your users that might need to get access to this screen. You can have access to the global view, which, as you can see, shows all the different Division 7A loans currently within your firm. You also have the option to edit and come back anytime. However, you can't select the lodgement date. That's locked in. But if you need to change any of the data here, let's say, oh, actually, it's supposed to be a 25-year loan, you can change it, save changes, and it should update with all the extra financial years for the year. And another thing is to note is once you've uh, posted the dividend, declared, paid the remaining amount in dividends, and then posted the journal, you're unable to edit add any more repayments through the worksheet because it will mess up the calculations, and we don't want that. I didn't show it before, so I'll quickly show it now. But you can see here, this is what the exported worksheet looks like. You have the summary, and then you have all the different each financial year. Of course, we only have data in the first year, but as you go on, there's a tab for every single financial year along the bottom. So that brings us to the end.